everybody, and welcome along to this special podcast / YouTube video. So obviously I am doing a YouTube video which is available to watch right now. The visual version of this podcast is available to watch right now on my YouTube channel, SteveOfficial. Please go and give it a watch if you would like to. Or feel free to give me a subscribe on my YouTube channel, SteveOfficial. That would be very much appreciated. But today, in this special podcast, we are going to be talking about everything that was announced at WWDC 2021, which is an event that Apple usually hold every year in June, and this year is no different. So Apple WWDC 2021 kicked off with a keynote event yesterday, which was the 7th of June. The special aired here in the UK on YouTube and Apple TV, etc, etc. It streamed available on those websites yesterday at 6 PM UK time. It lasted roughly around about an hour and 45 minutes. And a lot was announced. Obviously, WWDC, for those that don't know, WWDC often focuses on the next big system updates for the Apple devices. So we're talking iPhone, Apple TV, iMac, MacBook Pro, MacBook Air, iPads, Apple Watches, and sometimes even the HomePod as well. They get updates. Yeah, so obviously this is what the main focus is. There was no big announcements, no hardware announcements like brand new iPhones, iPads, iMacs or MacBooks or whatever. They weren't announced at this event, sadly. It was just primarily focusing on the software, like the system updates. So obviously we did get a look at iOS 15, we got a look at iPadOS 15, we got a look at the brand new macOS update, which is called Monterey, and we also got a look at the watchOS update as well. So, and in this podcast / YouTube video, I am going to be looking ahead at what you guys can expect to see on your Apple devices when these system updates will be made available to all Apple users this autumn. Usually these big system updates usually take place in September, not long after Apple announces their next iPhone range and next Apple Watch range, etc, etc. So I don't really think that this year will be much different. I think we will be seeing these big system updates coming to these Apple devices from September, when obviously when we do get a look at like the iPhone 13, etc, etc. So what I'm about to do now is I'm about to tell you guys everything that was announced at the WWDC event. Okay, so we're going to start with iPhone, and we're going to start with iOS 15. So Craig Federighi started things off with details on the latest major update to iOS, noting that this release focuses on 4 points: staying connected, finding focus, using intelligence, and exploring the world. He noted iOS 15 will roll into public beta in July with a full release this autumn. So updates have been made available to FaceTime with iOS 15. So you've got spatial audio. So when using a compatible audio setup, spatial audio will make it seem more like your friends' voices are coming from their on-screen position. So for example, you could have a friend on the left-hand side of your screen, and in your room it could sound like as if they're coming from the left-hand side of your room. You could have a friend who's coming from the right-hand side of your screen, and their voice could be sounding like as if they are on the right-hand side of your room. That is how awesome this update is. Voice isolation, so better and toggle-able voice isolation for when you're FaceTiming from a loud environment. So you could be outside, you could be by a roadside, for example, and it might be very, very difficult for your friend to hear exactly what you're saying. Well, with this voice isolation, it can block out all that sound that's going on in the background, and they can only just hear your voice and nothing else. You've got portrait mode, so the portrait mode from the camera app is coming to FaceTime. In other words, pretty background blurring, so you could literally blur out everything that's going on in the background and it could just purely focus on just your face. You've also got FaceTime links, so you'll now be able to generate shareable FaceTime links to let others, including desktop and Android users like me, via the browser, join FaceTime calls. So now you don't even have to have an iPhone, iPad or any iOS device to use FaceTime. You could be an Android user like me, who's now got a Samsung mobile phone, and you could share me a link to your FaceTime call and I can join it. So yeah, that is pretty cool. So now they've also introduced a new feature to FaceTime called SharePlay as well. So SharePlay is shared audio-video streams to allow you to listen to music, watch videos, select video partners initially, including Disney+, Hulu, HBO Max and TikTok, and control apps in sync with friends. You can push the shared videos to your Apple TV, keeping it all synced up between devices and households. Now, they've also introduced a brand new mode called Focus Mode. So you'll be able to shift your phone into different customizable modes like work, where only your work-related apps will show up, or personal, which could tuck all those work apps and widgets to the background. Vacation mode, activate. So there we go. Notifications batching, so you can now tell iOS to batch less important notifications together, delivering them all at a specific time, like after you've woken up, rather than letting them trickle in throughout the night. Live text has been introduced to iOS 15, so the camera can now recognise text in photos, handwritten or printed, and make it selectable, searchable, copy-pastable, etc. It can recognise things beyond text, as well as including animal breeds, landmarks, etc. The Apple Wallet has been updated for iOS 15. So Apple is incorporating home, office and hotel keys into Apple Wallet, allowing you to unlock compatible doors in those places with just your phone. You'll be able to check into select hotels, for example, and have your room key show up on your phone as soon as your room is ready. They're also working with the TSA in select states at first to put an encrypted copy of your state driver's license in Wallet that will be accepted at security screenings. Apple Maps has also been updated for iOS 15. So Maps is getting a detailed, focused overhaul with the addition of 3D elevation maps, 3D rendered landmarks, crosswalks, bike lanes, etc. Apple Maps is also taking some cues from Google Maps, including a mode that has you use the camera to scan nearby buildings to more precisely orient the phone and help you figure out which direction you're supposed to go at the beginning of a walk. There's updates to the AirPods as well. So you've got conversation mode. AirPods Pro will now allow you to boost the volume of voices and control the volume of ambient noise of those around you when you're having a face-to-face conversation in a noisy environment. Find My. So AirPods will now work with the Find My app even when they're in the case and will be able to alert you if you leave them behind. Spatial audio is coming to tvOS and M1 powered Macs. We've now got an update on the iPad OS. So iPad OS will get home screen widgets. They're pretty similar to the ones you've seen on iOS devices like the iPhone, with the addition of a much bigger widget option because, well, bigger screen of course. The app library concept is making its way from iOS devices to the iPad OS devices as well. A new multitasking menu will hopefully simplify the way you handle multitasking to iPad OS, moving the system away from the easily forgotten gestures currently required. The Notes app will now let you mention someone in a shared note to get their attention on a change and highlight changes when you come back to a shared doc. Quick Notes, meanwhile, will let you create a note from anywhere by swiping up from the bottom right corner of the screen. Translate. iPad OS will get a system-wide text translation option along with an app for translating in-person conversations in real time. Swift Backgrounds will now let you build apps on the iPad and submit them to the App Store. That's right, you will now be able to create apps directly on your iPad device. And public beta will be available for iPad OS 15 in July, and the full release to all Apple iPad owners will be available this September or this autumn. There's been updates to the security as well for your Apple devices. So the Mail app will now automatically obscure your IP address-location from those invisible tracking pixels marketers love to tuck into emails. An app privacy report option in settings will now summarize how often any given app increases your location, photos, etc. to hopefully flag any unexpected behaviours. Siri speech recognition will now happen on device, keeping the audio recordings off of Apple's servers and allowing for Siri commands without an internet connection. You'll be able to add recovery contacts to your iCloud account, allowing you to select friends who can help you get back into your iCloud account if you get locked out. You'll also be able to pick legacy contacts who can request access to your iCloud data should you pass away. There's been updates to the Health app as well. So your iPhone can now analyse your gait, step timing, etc. to analyse your walking steadiness to hopefully flag if your full risk is increasing over time. A trend summary in the Health app will highlight patterns in your step counts, heart rate, etc. A new health sharing option will let you securely share health data with people you care about, like that of your parents or kids. There's been updates to watchOS. So watchOS will now be able to help track your respiratory rate, how many breaths you take per minute, and note how you might breathe differently throughout the day, like when you're sleeping. They're also adding new workout modes to the activity tracking engine, including Tai Chi and Pilates. A new Portraits watch face will use your portrait mode photos to create a neat layered looking clock layout. Text input is getting a subtle overhaul on watchOS, with the scribble handwriting recognition being incorporated right into the text view. You use the crown to place the text cursor, then draw the letters / symbols you want right on top of your text, and the public beta for this next watchOS update will be available in July, with a full release to all Apple Watch users from this autumn or this September. Siri goes to third-party devices. So Apple says it's opening up Siri to third-party manufacturers and their devices, allowing Siri to live on things like Ecobee thermostats beginning later this year. macOS, the next major release of macOS, will be called macOS Monterey. All of the aforementioned SharePlay stuff which allows you to watch video and listen to music in sync with friends over FaceTime, is coming to macOS. Universal control. Now this is the bit, guys, that blew my mind when I saw this at yesterday's Apple WWDC 2021 keynote event. So with universal control, it will let you use one keyboard-mouse setup to control multiple Macs and iPads, automatically recognizing when a new compatible device is placed nearby. Put an iPad next to your MacBook and bam! It automatically extends, turning the two devices into one big canvas. Now, this is something that I will be able to do a little bit later on this year when I do get my M1 iMac device. And of course, I've updated both of the devices, my iPad and iMac, to the latest iPadOS 15 and macOS Monterey device. Okay, I will be able to show you guys that feature in full, and be prepared to be mind blown when that does come to the macOS and iPadOS. Macs are getting AirPlay, allowing you to send AirPlay content to your Mac's display like you might an Apple TV. The shortcuts automation system from iOS is coming to macOS, allowing you to quickly drag and drop together scripts to do the things you find yourself doing often. If you're already using macOS Automator system, it will still be supported for now. Safari is getting a UI overhaul. Tabs are being made smaller, and they're introducing a tabs group system to keep things organised. Tabs group will automatically sync between iCloud devices. The public beta will be available in July, and the full release will be available to all MacBook Pro, MacBook Air, Mac Mini and iMac devices this autumn - this September. And then finally we get on to the dev stuff. So though it's called the Worldwide Developers Conference, Apple tends to keep the keynote focused largely on the consumer facing stuff and save the most technical bits for the week's many breakout sessions. They did touch on a few developer highlights though, including new APIs to hook into things like SharePlay, Focus, etc. iOS is getting a built-in 3D object scanning system that developers can tie into their apps, allowing them to integrate 3D scanning style functionality without having to reinvent that wheel. Devs will now be able to build multiple App Store product pages for the same app with different icons, screenshots, etc. to see which one resonates best. And Test Flight, the service for privately distributing pre-release / beta apps on Apple's phone, tablet, watch operating systems, is coming to Mac OS as well. So there we go. That is everything that was announced at this year's WWDC 2021 event. For me personally, I think the main thing that blew my mind mostly was the universal control on the macOS. The fact that you can now use a iMac, MacBook and even an iPad all at once, and you can use your keyboard from like your iMac and your and the mouse from your iMac, and you can use that for your MacBook device and also your iPad device as well. It's just mind-blowing. It really, really is mind-blowing, and I really can't wait to try that feature out a little bit later on this year. Other than that, given the fact that I've now moved away from iPhone and I'm now with Android, there's not really a lot there, really, personally, for me, that's actually blew my mind in terms of, like, the iOS updates for the iPhone, or even with the iPadOS updates as well. So, you know, I don't really think there is a lot there that I can massively rave about and shout about. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm still excited to see what iPadOS 15 has to offer. I really can't wait to see what macOS Monterey has to offer later this year. Hopefully by the time September arrives, I should hopefully have my M1 iMac device ready, installed and ready to go, ready for macOS Monterey. It's going to be awesome. And yeah, really can't wait. So that's everything announced at this year's Apple WWDC 2021 event. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video or this podcast. If you're watching this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you are new around here to become a Stevo. But from me here on YouTube, it's goodbye. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in my next YouTube video.